You know it. You tell us about it all the time. Finding a COVID test fast is tough. I met a mom and dad who, while on the hunt for a test, came upon a testing site at a Bonita Springs strip mall. So they stopped and they got in line and they registered. But before they took the test, they got an email saying that they were negative. I mean, what? So I did some digging, found out the company that runs this site is racking up complaints not just here, but nearly everywhere. Erin Cates is a wife. Okay, she's a mom too, and she's COVID positive. But see, she knows that now. She didn't know it when she got in this line. Erin, her husband Doug, and their 3 kids were in search of a test when they saw the signs along 41 in Bonita Springs.
Almost like an election advertisement type sign, like a plastic sign that sits in the ground that says COVID testing this way. And I think it even said free COVID testing.
In line, they were told to grab one of these doctors' clinical lab cards, scan the QR code, and enter their names, address, a picture of their driver's license, and all of their personal insurance information.
When we went to CenturyLink, they didn't need all that information.
But the Cates filled out the card anyway. While they were in line waiting for a test, they got a notification that their results are ready. Results of a test they were still in line to take.
We got an email for each of us, all 5 of us, both of us and our 3 kids, saying that our rapid test came back negative.
The Cates told me other people in line got the same exact message. Erin and Doug did not like that one bit.
I confronted the man. I asked him how this happened.
So they emailed Wink News, and I started to investigate. First, I tried to call Center for COVID Control. That's who sent Erin and Doug the notification that their test results came back negative.
You are currently caller number 121.
It said our wait time was 5 minutes, and then 6 minutes, and then 8 minutes. I gave up after 40 minutes. I was getting nowhere. I went back to the card the Cates filled out, looked up doctor's clinical lab. I found one ending in .net and another ending in .com. I called the .net number first. A spokesperson from the Miami-based company told me. So the Doctor's Clinical Laboratory Services that is using your logo and name on the west coast of Florida in several locations is not a part of your entity.
Exactly. It's not a part of us at all.
So when I looked for a number to the .com, I clicked the link and this popped up. It's an official looking website, but with a peculiar message, okay? It's not a home page, not a table of contents tab. The first thing I see is a negative COVID-19 test, time-stamped with whatever the time and date was when I clicked on the link. I did it 6 times with the same negative test result coming up. So the next day I tried again. This time a single page filled the screen. The message, quote, "The patient you are trying to verify has been tested. If you need a copy of the report, call our lab," end quote. And there's a phone number. I called and heard this.
Thank you for calling Center for COVID Control.
Recognize that message? It's the Center for COVID Control. The company website says it is based in Illinois, operates more than 275 locations in 29 states, boasts free rapid COVID tests, detects Omicron, is highly effective, results by the end of the day, no appointments necessary. The Center for COVID Control says it is, quote, partnered with a CDC-approved and licensed lab, end quote. It looks good, it sounds good, but is it legit? So I went out to the testing site in Bonita. Look, no social distancing and about 15 to 20 people in the lobby. On a table, those same cards the Cates filled out. And only one person in the entire facility who told me that he started working there 4 hours ago. What's the name of this company? You don't know the name of the company that you just work for right now?
All I can tell you is the man that should be able to answer all the questions should be back anytime.
Tyler Blackwell looked the part. Are you a nurse? Like, you have scrubs on right now. Are you like a registered nurse?
I am not.
Where'd you get the scrubs from?
You can buy these things anywhere, man. Walmart, Target. He
told me he has no medical training or expertise. He just hands the swab to people so they can stick them up their noses.
It's criminal. It's infuriating. I hope it gets shut down fast.
And the icing on the cake, a tip jar. I don't think you heard me. A COVID-19 testing site with a tip jar. It says tips for Tony. Blackwell told me that Tony was a man. It turns out Tony was a dog. A tip jar for Tony the dog. So, you heard how I tried to call the Center for COVID Control. I emailed them too. So far, no response. I reached out to Florida's Attorney General as well. She did not get back to me either, but her office has issued a consumer alert warning Floridians to take precautions to protect your personal information when seeking a COVID test. How about this? The state of California is investigating the Center for COVID Control sites there, and the Illinois Department of Health released a list of legit testing sites. The Center for COVID Control, which, as I told you, is based in Illinois, is not on their list. Okay, so the guy who did not want to talk to me before the story started to blow up my phone last night. He's the guy who says he runs the day-to-day at the testing site in Bonita Springs, operated by a company called Center for COVID Control. He said he does his best to get people COVID test results in a timely manner, and my response was, oh yeah? Show me. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Dennis Finnerty told me he does not have to be here. He doesn't have to deal with people who fear they might have COVID.
It's nice to have a place to come to, and I really feel accomplished every day because I feel like we're doing a great service and helping people here.
The Indiana native, who says he served in the Army and now calls Southwest Florida home, told me he decided to volunteer his time at this Bonita Springs testing site after his buddy hit him up.
He goes, I need your help. And I said, what do you need? He says, well, I'm opening up this COVID testing site, and I was going to see if you can come and help me out.
I got there, and he showed me around the place.
Then we take this.
Hoping to prove the test site appears functional.
And I take a cap.
But the bottom line is that Finnerty does not know a single thing about the company that operates this location, the Center for COVID Control. What research did you do about the company before you started working?
To be honest with you, I really didn't. I trusted my buddy, and you know, it's a big company, it's a big lab. You know, they've got sites all over the country.
He admitted he has no contact with the Center for COVID Control. He admitted that he doesn't know a single person who works there. He admitted that a buddy of his, who he refuses to name, is the one who talks to the lab in Illinois. And when I questioned Finnerty about the reason for my investigation, that somehow Aaron and Doug Cates and others got negative test results before they even took their tests, he blamed a computer glitch.
You know, Mike, we're not perfect. You know what I mean? You know, there's sometimes we have errors.
And when I pressed him about the name of the company on the cards he hands out to people who want to test, Doctors Clinical Lab, that a company with that name in Miami denies any knowledge of what's happening here in Bonita. Does that concern you at all?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing that struck me, okay, there are fewer people in the lobby, and the infamous tip jar for Tony the dog that I featured in my original report is now gone. Back to the Cates family. All right, before I left, Finnerty showed me a timestamp on his administrative system that he claims proves the Cates did get results after they took their COVID tests.
And they got this one at 1:49 in the afternoon.
And Finnerty claims that proves the computer glitch was corrected. But the Cates, in a phone interview, told me that is not the case.
There's not one email from them. I would say that that's bull.
The center of a Wink News investigation suddenly shut down one of its 3 Southwest Florida locations.
And the woman who says that she runs the site at the Edison Mall claims that she got orders to close up this morning. And this all comes after Wink News reporter Michael Hudak confirmed some people at the Bonita Springs site got test results before they even took the test. Here's a clip from Michael's original report that aired on Wink News at 3 on Monday.
In line, they were told to grab one of these doctors' clinical lab cards, scan the QR code, and enter their names, address, a picture of their driver's license, and all of their personal insurance information. While they were in line waiting for a test,
We got an email for each of us, all 5 of us, both of us and our 3 kids, saying that our rapid test came back negative.
Michael joins us now from the Edison Mall. Michael, you talked exclusively with the woman who says that she runs that location. Why did she get orders to shut it down?
Nicole, she says it's because of all of the stuff that was going on. Mary Farmer said that everyone under the umbrella of the Center for COVID Control needed to be investigated to prove that they were not a part of anything. So this testing site is now closed until further notice. Look at it. The banners are gone. The shed is boarded up. And now I want you to check out this video. A week ago, I was here at the Edison Mall, and this place was booming, Nicole. Well over 100 cars in line. I time-lapsed this video to show you just how packed it was. Farmer told me it's a shame to shut down because so many people wanted to be tested.
I know there were sites in Miami that were giving out results before people even tested.
What if I told you that I did a report on Monday that the site in Bonita Springs was doing the same exact thing?
We heard the same thing, and we didn't know that, and we were sending people over there that couldn't wait in line, and we didn't know that ourselves.
I continue to push the state attorney general, the Agency for Healthcare Administration, the Department of Health, everybody, to find out if one of them is investigating the Center for COVID Control, the company that runs this site, the site in Bonita, and a third location in Cape Coral. No one will answer that question directly.
News begins with breaking news.
Breaking tonight, the company at the center of a Wink News investigation orders a pause in operations. Good evening, I'm Lois Tomey.
I'm Chris Safati. Thanks for joining us tonight. On its website, USA Today reports it obtained an internal memo saying the Center for COVID Control will pause all operations for 1 week. A company spokesperson later confirmed to USA Today the existence of that memo. That pause is expected to take effect Friday nationwide. USA Today goes on to cite Wink News and our reporting of what happened at the Bonita Springs location, that some people in line got results for tests before they even took the COVID test. Wink News reporter Michael Hudak broke the story in Bonita, and on Wink News at 3 broke the news that the Edison Mall location closed up today. Michael, you talked with the woman who says she runs that site.
That's right, and she says that these orders came from above. And Chris, above we know is the Center for COVID Control, which has 275 listed locations across the United States, 3 of them in Southwest Florida, and one of them used to be right there. A week ago today, the old Sears parking lot at the Edison Mall was lined with cars. Today, back to the ghost town it's been since the department store was closed. And when I got here, it was just me, myself, and my camera guy until a woman in a car pulled up. It turns out it was the woman who manages this place. So I asked her what the heck happened. This is time-lapse video I shot the first time I visited the COVID test site at the Edison Mall. I mean, look at the incredible line of cars. 1 week later, you could hear a pin drop in the parking lot.
There is such concern out there for people being scared and needed testing, and now people are without.
The only sign that this place used to be a test site, a locked shed, a sign that says closed until further notice, and then Mary Farmer. You used to run this site, correct?
Yeah.
Farmer told me last week, and again on Thursday, she ran this testing site operating under the umbrella of the Center for COVID Control. And when I asked her why this site closed...
Everybody has to be investigated.
What? By who? The Center for COVID Control? I mean, I've tried for a week to get someone from the company to talk to me about what's happening in Southwest Florida. The state of Florida? I've called the state attorney general, the Department of Health, the Agency for Healthcare Administration, emailed them all too. They will not say whether they are doing an investigation. So I asked Farmer. Who did you say was investigating the Center for COVID Control?
I know there were sites in Miami that were giving out results before people even tested.
What if I told you that I did a report on Monday that the site in Bonita Springs was doing the same exact thing?
We heard the same thing, and we didn't know that, and we were sending people over there that couldn't wait in line, and we didn't know that ourselves.
It turns out the only Southwest Florida location shut down right now is the one at the Edison Mall. Thursday afternoon, this video proves the Cape Coral location is still open. And then when I texted Dennis Finnerty, the same Dennis Finnerty who welcomed me into the Bonita Springs site on Tuesday, his response was 2 words. Again Thursday afternoon, video shows Bonita is still open as well. So, why shut down now, right? Locally and nationwide, I previously reported the state of California was looking into the Center for COVID Control. USA Today now reports so is Oregon and Massachusetts and Washington. And here's the kicker, guys. USA Today says the U.S. Department of Justice is, quote, taking a keen interest in the company. Again, the newspaper cites that this will take effect tomorrow. At the Edison Mall, Michael Hudak, Wink News, now.
All right, thank you very much, Michael.
Lois, walk with me. You know, so many people walked up to this testing site just like you and I are right now, but when they got to the door, they realized that it was locked and nobody was home. That sign in the window is really all that remains. It's an image that's been very popular on their social media in the last couple of months. Speaking of social media, Lois, the Twitter and the Instagram for the Center for COVID Control has been shut down. I reached out to Twitter and Instagram to see, is that a ban? Was that a suspension? I'll let you know when they get back to me. The banner that hung over that awning has also been removed. Walk with us some more. One of the things that really got a lot of these business owners upset in the last couple of weeks, Lois, was the parking situation. You can see right now it's basically empty, but they say when the Center for COVID Control test site was open, this lot was packed, and the owner of the gym next door told me that created a problem for her members. Cape Coral, Bonita, and the Edison Mall locked up, shut down. But why? I mean, here's the Center for COVID Control's company line. In a statement to me, it said, quote, "It's committed to providing high-quality testing service while ensuring that we are compliant with all regulations and achieving high levels of patient satisfaction. We are doubling down on these efforts. The goal is to reopen in Cape Coral, Bonita, and the Edison Mall next Saturday, January 22nd. Back here in Cape Coral, I met the Florida Department of Health investigator who said he was investigating. His superiors at the Department of Health, they told me they can neither confirm nor deny that an investigation is taking place. I also met Yacel Zaldivar. He showed up to find out where are his COVID results. He didn't speak English, so we used a translator on his phone to talk to him. Tell me again, how many times have you been to this site? In his words, quote, "It was going to be the second time I came here. The second time because Yacel says he never got his results from the first time." You heard and read correctly. Yacel says, "I came now to know the result of the test because it did not arrive." And I'm not done. The state attorney general's office now confirms a woman from Fort Myers filed a complaint based on her experience at the Center for COVID Control location in Bonita Springs. And this is a new claim against the company that they charged $25 for a test. Read for yourself. Quote, "They took only cash. I have to provide a photo of my driver's license and insurance card. They had a tip jar," which I thought was very strange. Remember, when I broke the story about people getting their results before they even took their test, that happened at the Bonita Springs site. And in my story, I showed you a tip jar. The guy behind the desk handing out tests told me the tip jar was for Tony, the dog.